And I think because I was talking about my parents in the last video, and because I talked about some of the values that they passed on to me, and then I also said I'm never going to speak to them again. You know, the things that I talked about in the last video were things that were positive about them. You know, I mean, most people have at least something positive about them. You know, I think the pathologization. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I think the pathologizing of just kind of like every possible human condition is really bad for everyone. Makes things much more difficult. Counseling, like psychology, is also much more medication oriented instead of just actually trying to like, you know, like figure out what your real issues are and like work on them. And it's really easy for whoever it is that's like reacting to something that's going on in the family to just be like totally pathologized, and then they just like whatever personal power they had within their family structure is like just totally decimated by it, and things end up worse for them for them than they even were before they sought help. I mean, I think that's happened to a lot of people. Yeah. You know, and I think something that was really, really sad that happened to me after I was in the hospital. Of course, you know, just the original hospitalization was something I asked for, something I wanted. You know, I hoped it would help, but it didn't. Really didn't. What happened was that everyone was kind of like, you know, Lena's had a breakdown. It must be that she worked too hard. You know, we know how hard she worked in school. We know how hard she worked at everything else. You know, it was all just way too much for her. Poor Lena. She better just kind of take it easy from now on. And that really had nothing to do with it. You know, I mean, really had a lot more to do with my parents, you know, not being all bad, but also being really, really, really controlling, and, you know, really pretty emotionally abusive. Really pretty emotionally abusive. Not consistently emotionally abusive, you know, but emotionally abusive enough to make things very, very difficult. And that's what the problem was. And also, they make the whole thing, you know, the way that you're treated after you're in the hospital, that kind of thing, is that like, oh well, you know, from now on, you better not even try as hard, right? Everybody's saying that to you, like, you know, really pretty much for the most part. And then also, you know, the people who continue to be part of your life, it kind of ends up being like every time there's any kind of conflict or disagreement, or they're just in a bad mood, it has nothing. It's automatically about like you being crazy, right? You know, they don't say it. They usually don't say it like right out loud, like, oh, you're crazy. They just like, you know, give you a look or a tone of voice, or say something that indicates that they're right, because of course everybody knows that, you know, you're like mentally deficient, you know, from the time you set foot in the hospital. That's how it is, and that's how you spend the rest of your life. You know, I mean, all of my relationships from when I was younger are gone. Because my life just took another course, and whether or not I would want to, you know, reconnect with those people, I don't know. You know, I learned how to deal with my life. You know, I've developed a personality that, you know, basically works for me, and I'm not sure, you know, but it was very painful, and it wasn't even just like that everybody treated me that way, but of course you're totally taken out of everything that's normal for a long time. So, and everybody goes off to college anyway, so you don't really get to see them. They make new friends, they do other things, you know, you grow apart, that kind of thing. But even so, I mean, I felt so bad. I felt so bad about myself that I felt like I wasn't even like good enough for those people anymore. A lot of them, and it was just, I felt like even when they tried to be nice to me, I felt guilty. I'm like, no, you don't realize, you don't know how like really I'm just this like loser now. So yeah, it's, you know, it's just it's terrible, and I'm certainly not the only person that it's happened to, and it's just happened to people younger. It's happened to people younger and younger and younger. You know, I guess also something that I was thinking about. What I was thinking about yesterday, I don't want to be like guilt tripping people, but you know, so one of the things I think that's made me so bitter about, you know, what's happened over the past several years is like I had already been through so much, you know, by the time that like sort of famous people had gotten to know who I was, and I don't just mean like celebrities, you know, various types of people. I had already been through so much, you know, and I had known, you know, from a young age that I was a good writer. People always said that to me. It was also something my parents wanted me to be good at, so, you know, I learned how to be good at it. But I didn't know I was actually like really, really, really good. And then when I realized that I was, and I thought, you know, there was this brief time, you know, for a few months that I thought, wow, I could maybe for the first time in a very long time, something's gonna work out for me. That doesn't have to be the result of just like my excruciatingly hard work every step of the way to not even really get that much. You know, I mean, there were just a few months when I thought, all right, well, you know, wow, maybe I can really do something that I like doing, which is writing, you know, and actually make decent money. But I never wanted to be a full-time writer. I wanted to do something else, you know. I thought it just seemed like it was something that I could do. It didn't take that much time. I was good at it. And I thought maybe for the first time in such a long time, something's going to work out. And not only did it not work out, it like exploded into something that I could never even have imagined could be as bad as it is. So that's you know, and in addition to that, I'm still 10 years after it started, being treated like I'm a horrible person who can never be punished enough. So if I get very, very angry, that's why. You know, I really just didn't need this. Wow, did I not need this?